Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Weekly Drip. Today we're going to be bringing you a video on how to make cold brew using the French press method. We did want to mention that if you visit our website, blendincoffeeclub.com, you can buy all of our coffees there, and we're actually going to be featuring a coffee from China called Meizi. Using the code STAYHOME, you can get 20% off of this. Again, that's just the code STAYHOME. Whenever you're checking out, you can get 20% off of this coffee. So one of the questions that we received was, which coffees do you prefer as cold brew? This is actually the coffee that we use in the coffee shop on cold brew. We have it as nitro cold brewers really well. It's really popular. So if you haven't tried that, come on in and taste that. And we're going to be using it for today's recipe as well. We really enjoy this coffee because it has really nice tropical fruit notes, honey, apricot, and when you make a cold brew out of it, the body is really nice and heavy. So we're going to be showing you guys how to do that, again, using the French press. So let's get started. One of the questions was about the water to coffee ratio. So we're going to be using 40 grams of coffee, 240 grams of water. It's a 1 to 6 ratio. So first thing we're going to do is just add our coffee in. Like I said, we're going to be using the French press, but really you can brew this in any cup or vessel that you have. Sometimes the bigger the better, because what's going to happen is this is an 18 to 24 hour brew. So if you are brewing in a larger device, you're going to allow yourself to have a thinner coffee bed just to make sure that everything is getting evenly saturated. We're going to be using this smaller French press here. And one of the other questions we had was, how long should you brew it for? There's a recommendation of 18 to 24 hours is usually what we say, depending on how concentrated you want it. So we're just going to go ahead and add 240 grams, that's a 1 to 6 ratio. And then we're going to let it steep for 18 hours. One other important thing is whenever you're adding water, you want to make sure when you're finished to go ahead and stir it. So we have our 240 grams of water. We want to give it a nice stir just to make sure that everything is evenly saturated. Coffee does tend to clump up, and if it's clumped up for 18 hours, you're not going to get even extraction for all the coffee. So once you have the coffee stirred, again, you're just going to set that in the refrigerator for 18 hours. This does make a concentrate. Someone had thrown us the question that, should you be diluting the coffee or should you just be drinking it straight as a concentrate? That's really up to you. There's a few different ways you can go about it. One is to dilute it to a half ratio, so half coffee, half water. Maybe add some ice to it and you have a nice cold brew. Another option, if you leave it as a concentrate, you can add some milk to it. And it could be kind of like a makeshift iced latte because you're using a cold brew concentrate. Another question that we got was whether or not you should be blooming the coffee with hot water before you start the process of brewing for 18 hours. This isn't really something that we recommend because of the long brew time. The coffee is going to get saturated evenly throughout the 18 hours anyway, so degassing it first with hot water, there's no real benefit to that. Another thing that we didn't talk about yet, but whenever you're brewing with a French press, if you don't happen to have one, you can also use, a cup, any type of brewing vessel, something that holds water and coffee, and then you can filter it afterwards. So if you have a metal sieve, if you have cheesecloth, these both work really well whenever you need to take the grounds from the water, and then you're just left with a concentrate. So thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate all of your support. And don't forget to visit blendincoffeeclub.com. You can purchase the Meizi coffee for 20% off right now using the code STAYHOME. And we'll see y'all next week.